Many of you know the Socorro area is a highly active earthquake zone. Rumbling in the area is not all that uncommon, but recently there's been a lot more activity. We took a trip to New Mexico Tech to check it out for ourselves and find out just what's going on. The campus of New Mexico Tech in Socorro is very peaceful, and you might not know the ground is shaking, but it is, and it's fascinating students and staff.
Hundreds of tiny earthquakes.
More than 400, actually, but only a handful have been large enough to feel, and in some cases, hear.
Well, they sound like a boom. Basically, the earthquake waves are traveling through the earth, and they shake the air, and it makes noise.
Richard Astor is a professor of geophysics. He studies the quakes and says the ground in Socorro shakes about every week, but the recent activity is called a swarm. So, what causes them? Astor says it's part of a rift system that is slowly pulling the continent apart and forms the giant valley the Rio Grande follows.
And in Socorro, we actually have a lens of molten rock about 12 miles underneath us here that's slowly inflating and stressing the brittle crust above it. And that's what generates these unusual earthquake swarms.
Astor isn't the only one keeping close tabs on the activity. So are other staff members and some students. There are more than 400 arrays like this one buried throughout the state, and hundreds more of these smaller transportable arrays. While scientists are the only ones aware of the majority of these quakes, there's evidence of hundreds of thousands of years of earthquakes in the landscape.
If you look at the elevated area north of Socorro, that's largely, those hills have been pushed up by the Socorro magma body inflating over the last tens of thousands of years, we believe.
Astor says this swarm seems to be tapering off, but he has no doubt the ground will shake again. It's just a question of how soon. The last major earthquakes to shake Socorro were in 1906. Both were close to a magnitude of 6.